there, this is Two Balding Nerds. My name is Kellen.
And my name is George, and today we're discussing the new trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, everyone's favorite bounty hunter who literally did sweet FA in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Other than getting eaten by the Sarlacc.
Yep, and still he's somehow one of the biggest badasses in cinema history.
It's really too bad he kind of got the sequel trilogy treatment where everything about Boba Fett is in some book or some other, out of like movie universe, so to speak, way that you need to read in order to learn about him, which means that a lot of people don't end up really knowing that much about Boba.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Boba Fett to me is like the equivalent of when people who get a job based strictly off of their looks. And it's like you don't know anything about him, you don't know how talented he is. It doesn't matter. He walked in, and everyone went, "You look awesome. You're hired." And then they're like, "Oh shit, we need to actually like make sure this character becomes awesome." And now he is actually legitimately awesome, just based off purely what they did with him in The Mandalorian.
I think not only the Mandalorian, but also with showing him in the Clone Wars, not the movie, but the TV show, with him as a young man, that sort of thing.
Mm.
I think that was pretty good. Couple things I know you noticed right off the bat: the BT-16.
Yeah, the spider brain bot. What the hell was with that? It looked like some type of weird stop motion origami. It looked like something out of a Tim Burton movie, like A Nightmare Before Christmas or Coraline. Not that I dislike those films, I love them to pieces, but that was not what I was expecting first thing to see for the Book of Boba Fett.
Neither was I. Now I've done a little bit of research, watched a couple other trailer reviews, and they say that it is a brain in a jar. That big orange globe thing is a jar housing a brain for a
Yeah.
Bomar monk who supposedly they were like a sector of folk that gave up their body in order to improve the brain and sort of in a way live forever. Maybe Palpatine should have spoken to them instead of going the way of the Sith, but that's another story. And the temple or the castle, Jabba's castle, was actually their sort of temple, and he came in and took it over. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the lore behind those things is actually quite interesting, which could make a whole nother video. Actually, I've watched several videos on YouTube that explain the lore of the BT. Uh, I almost called it BT-16. I think it's a BT. Is it BT-16 now, or now double. I'm rethinking. Yeah, BT-16. Sorry, I thought it was 13 for a moment. Anyways, I've watched a couple of videos on the BT-16s to learn about how, as you mentioned, that they're of the Bamaran monks. And it's really quite interesting. More so the part for this trailer though is I like as soon as I saw it, it threw me off just like that really low compared to what we're used to now with Star Wars, kind of like almost a low quality stop motion.
Well, I didn't notice that so much, but I did notice it right away, like everybody did.
Mhm.
Um, but at first, I thought it was some sort of new like creature, robot, that sort of thing. I should say droid, but I thought it was something new until I started watching a couple of videos on YouTube, and someone pointed out that it's actually seen in the background of Return of the Jedi when Luke is walking down the hall after entering Jabba's palace initially, and
No,
I I
it's
never
seen
noticed that
also.
before.
It's actually seen. That's what spooks 3PO so bad at the very beginning, as well, if I recall. When R2 and 3PO first walk in, R2 goes ahead, and 3PO is like, "Oh, I think we should slow down." And then he's like, "Ah, R2, wait for me!" It's that thing that pops up behind him.
It's
Uh,
funny because I never put two and two together in my mind that it was like some sort of a spider-ish looking droid or whatever. And yeah, when I first saw it in the trailer, I just shuddered because I have a fear of spiders. I don't like them at all.
I don't. Yeah, spiders, calf. I like spiders for the sake of they get rid of other bugs, which I also despise.
But we're in agreement that they're fucking scary.
They're creepy. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, Following that, there is a what looks like a pit droid handing him his helmet, and I noticed it has two looks like two ocular sort of things on its head, so to speak. Looks like it's got two eyes.
Yeah, it was kind of neat seeing that little droid. I wouldn't actually say it was a pit droid, but it was similar to that, just based on the fact that now Black Bear, where Disney can turn just about anything into a droid. They turn balls into droids, turn lamps into droids. They can just make anything a neat little droid nowadays.
It's interesting though. Do you remember? I think it was sometime like last year. People were calling him Boba Fett
Because he seemed a little bit chunkier than
around the
Jango did.
midsection. I
Yeah.
noticed in the trailer, Tamora Morrison, the actor that plays Boba Fett and the clones in Star Wars, he's looking quite trim these days. I think maybe he might have taken that personally, just a little bit,
So are we saying that the very polite, kind Star Wars fans might have body shamed Boba Fett?
into getting back into shape. I think so. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of looks more the part now than he did last year in season two of Mando. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't so taken out of the moment by his body shape when that happened. I was kind of more focused on the fact that he was laying a beat down on like a platoon of stormtroopers. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I can definitely say I noticed it that he did seem a little more rotund than he was in the originals. But it didn't take away anything from seeing him actually in action, which was a fantastic childhood dream come true. I can definitely say I'm still actually not 100% fond of the fact that like he has like the robes on the sides of his outfit now, like from the waist down. I haven't been fond of that design choice. I preferred it better when he had just more of a
You like the classic look of Boba Fett?
well, not just the classic look. I liked how Django looked, where he had a little bit more armor and a little bit more polish to him, and I also liked how Boba looked just Black Bear with pants, and just pants instead of like the robe thing. Because I like my Jedi in robes. I just didn't find the way that they've done the kind of half thing is not my thing. I'd almost go for more if he had a cape, then it'd block off his
Yeah,
chest.
the robe. I mean, it's a little distracting. It would probably be better if it was kind of more of like you know how Mando has a bit of a. It almost looks like pants and like a shirt, and his armor's kind of over top, kind of
Yeah,
like an
and that's
undersuit.
kind of almost like a tunic or like a poncho,
Yeah, I think that
something like
might
that,
look
which would
better. I kind of like the black and dark green look. I actually think it looks a lot sleeker and kind of more intimidating than the original design costume with like the lighter pants and top and all that kind of stuff. I feel like
Mhm.
this looks a bit more intimidating. Um,
Yeah.
I did notice in the trailer there. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss, but there's a gigantic city and it looks like it's on a desert planet. Do you think that's on Tatooine, or do you think it's on another planet?
I would guess that is still Tatooine because there's Moss Isle or Moss Isley, and there's like a Moss other thing if I recall. There's a couple of
I
cities
know
in
of Mos Espa, and I wrote
Isley.
down in my notes here that I think that might actually be Mos Espa, and because I don't think we've ever been introduced to that city that I'm aware of in any of the Star Wars mediums, and I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please somebody correct me. But it doesn't come to mind immediately if that has happened. So I
I
think
know
we might be
in
looking at Mos Espa.
I know in Star Wars, the video game Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Empire and the Republic spawn on two different cities. One of them is Mos Eisley, and the other one I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. So it is possible, like in the original New Hope, Mos Eisley from a distance isn't like nearly as big as this one we saw. So it's more likely, I guess, to like be something, I guess, on a different planet, but. I think that Tatooine has more than one big city or one city, but it is the sandy butthole, the galaxy that everyone loves so much. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it really wouldn't be Star Wars if we didn't go visit Tatooine at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I swear to God, it's like the Old Testament
It's like New
where all things
York
start.
of the Star Wars galaxy. Everything takes place there.
I was gonna say, why is it flooded and has rats swimming on pizza, or
Well, I
is
mean,
that
there are those giant sand dune rats. You remember in like A New Hope when they're coming in on the speeder, the extended version? They got those friggin' gigantic like wombat rat things jumping around. I don't know if those are meant to be uh, Womp Rats, but
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah.
those things.
But
Oh yeah,
anyway,
I guess yeah, Tatooine and New York, they both have womp rats. Never thought about that.
um, I did notice in the trailer, his face looks significantly less scarred compared to the second season of Mandalorian.
I didn't notice that actually.
It's like if you take a still of him in season two of Mando and then a still from this trailer, his face looks a lot less scarred and beat up. Um, like in season two of Mando, it almost looks like his face has like been burned, which I think is fair because I think that's the digestive acids of the Sarlacc burning his face. Um, but in this trailer, it looks like he's recovered quite a bit. People are theorizing that in the like one of the first scenes there when he's getting his helmet handed to him, that there's a like a restoration chamber behind him that he may be using to like regenerate. Um,
I don't think that's how it works because that's the case, Vader would have started to slowly get better. Because in the new canon, at least, Vader had that back to tank thing in his castle
Mustafar.
on Mustafar, and apparently from the lore I've seen, is he would go in that to feel comfortable. It didn't actually heal him at all. Because if it could have healed him, it's like, well, then why didn't he just spend a month in the back to syrup, get better, and put on his robotic limbs and be like his old Anakin self again?
Well, I think this is like healing his skin by the looks of it. I don't know if it's so much for like regenerating him, so to speak, but it definitely is noticeable if you take a look between the two pictures. Um, and I know you mentioned how you were a little bit let down by him saying, "Oh, I want to rule with respect," and I think
Yeah,
we might be seeing um, him and his character change a little bit from the character that a lot of people have made up in their heads. Um, you know, it's funny getting tossed into a sarlacc pit and almost dying really changes a man. You know.
maybe. I think about one of the things that, like, just with this trailer in general, is like where I'm going, like, I find it funny where I go, this is the trailer. Someone said, oh, there's a Book of Boba Fett trailer coming out. This is the one I'd be the most hyped about. And then upon watching it, I go like, actually, it was not that. There was really nothing to it that really got me hyped, other than being like, well, I'm happy to see that they have a date that's coming out. It hasn't diminished my excitement for the Book of Boba Fett, but the trailer just really didn't do anything to really get me excited at all. Because I think, funny enough, is not, and I don't really think it's a fault of Disney or how they did the trailer, because the trailer was fine. But it's just because Boba Fett has always been a very mysterious character. Like even when we saw Jango Fett, there I think there's a very clear distinction between Jango and Boba. Boba has that mystique of being very mysterious and unknown. So like this kind of plays into that again. It's like, okay, he's still mysterious unknown, but he's a total badass. And they didn't show him being a total badass in this trailer yet. Maybe
Well, I
that was
mean,
a little before he
there was
took
that
the
one
boomy mask.
scene where it looked like now those guys with the energy shields, and
Mhm.
I want to call them the cattle prods because those swords kind of remind me of cattle prods. Um, there was that scene where he's surrounded, and I mean, I bet you him and Fennec Shand completely whoop their ass and make short work of them. I did
Mhm.
notice in the trailer he seems to have his helmet off a lot.
I really
Um,
hope they don't do that constantly. I hate it when they have a character like Spider-Man or Boba Fett or Vader or someone who's iconic for wearing a mask and they constantly take the damn mask off. It's like, no, keep your fucking helmet on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like part of the reason why they're doing it is to give him more scenes where he can kind of show his emotional range and his facial expressions, so you can kind of gauge how he's feeling. Um,
And I
to
think that
convey more emotion. But
that'd be a whole misstep too if they did that.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm
Boba,
I'm on the fence about it. I understand why they might be wanting to do it. I do have to agree with you that you know the helmet being on and the mystique and like what's going on behind that mask kind of makes his character more intriguing rather than being like, oh, very clearly he's pissed off and he's about to like kick the shit out of this guy with this vibro sword or whatever it is. Um, so we'll have to see how that ends up turning out this winter season, debuting December 29th. But
And just sorry to cut you
no,
off
go
there
ahead.
quickly. I just want to make sure I get this point. And The Mandalorian has proven that you can have a crap ton of emotion in a character fully masked the whole time. Just the small little movements in the body language, the inflections in the voice and everything. Those emotions in The Mandalorian were so well portrayed for a character we had literally never heard of, never seen before. It helped having the most adorable little Muppet following him around at all times. But I go like Boba Fett can definitely have more of his character shown through those subtle things, and like that, there's the scene in the trailer where she makes a comment where she's like, "Oh, if that was Java, he would have put you in his menagerie," and Boba kind of sits back and says, "Please speak freely," and I go, that has the potential, like because we don't know the full context of the scene, where that could be an exceedingly tense, like, please, like, let's see you see how long it takes to like kill you, or him actually being very peaceful and calm. That can be portrayed with him in his outfit, and I don't want them to be like, no, we have to show the actor's acting chops without his outfit and helmet on. That doesn't make sense to me with how that's not why people like Boba Fett. We like Boba Fett because of who he already is. Don't try to change the character too much. I don't mind evolving the character, but you can't like go like it's like when they did Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader. People liked Vader so much, and then Anakin was way too far off from what people liked about Vader for them to be like, oh yeah, those two characters, those are the same.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's definitely a lot that can be done through body language. I mean, there's differing arguments about how much of a percentage of human interaction or socialization is done through body language, but I definitely think um, I feel that it's going to be a good season. I think we're all going to enjoy it regardless of what is
Yes.
done. A lot of people are kind of nicknaming it Mandalorian Season 2.5, and that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from it. I think there's the expectation, or at least a lot of people are hoping for Mando to show up at some point, and I feel like he does in this season. There's a scene in the trailer where they're speaking with the Ithorian, which is one of the aliens that you see in the Mos Eisley Cantina in A New Hope, and there's a
The one
voice
with
dubbed
the
over it. Yeah, with a
I know.
Twi'lek to his side, and he looks like he's sitting on a throne.
Yeah, he's the one with the bulgy eyes and the kind of oval, weirdly shaped head, right?
Yes, so the voice that we hear in the trailer, I mean, it reminds me a lot of Pedro Pascal, and I kind of feel like they're putting it over that scene specifically to maybe mislead people into thinking that, oh, there's no way it's him.
Mhm.
But I mean, it sounds a lot like it to me. I might be wrong, but that's just my belief. And I'm hoping that we do end up seeing him and that there is like a team up episode and he helps them out with something. And there is a point in the trailer also where it's showing the Tusken Raiders. So I'm really hoping that there's a flashback and they give us a little bit of insight into how exactly he escaped the Sarlacc and maybe his time with the Tusken Raiders. Because as we saw in the Mandalorian season 2, they're not the mindless monsters that they're portrayed to be in like A New Hope, right?
Mhm.
So seeing that aspect of things might be pretty interesting to see.
I never thought about that. That would actually, I think, would be a really good idea if they did a little bit of a, okay, let's actually explain, like, if maybe, I think it'd be great if they did a flashback scene where they actually showed him blasting out of the Sarlacc pit. That would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there is actually, I don't know if you know this, but there is a Jedi who is a Tusken Raider as well.
Yes,
Um,
there was.
there's, I
Is
think,
he technically still lore? Is he Legends?
well, I mean, he has to be canon because he's literally in the background, I believe, of Blah, 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 blah. I think it's episode one. He's in the
Oh,
background of
nice.
episode one when they're on Tatooine or whatever. Um, it's the same like restaurant or whatever that they pass by when Jar Jar Binks tries to eat the frog thing off of the rack, and it gets spat into Sebulba's dish. There's a guy sitting in the background, and he's got like white face paint on. He's apparently a Jedi undercover,
Hmm.
but he was a Tusken Raider. Can't
Oh,
remember
okay,
the name of him right now, but yeah,
that's different than I recall because yeah, I have to say that must have been awkward for Anakin and him to meet up and be like, so, people killed my mom, so I killed your
yeah,
people.
yeah. That would have been awkward. That would have been a
So,
really weird conversation to have at the water cooler in the Jedi Temple, eh?
yeah, so, peace and forgiveness.
Never. Just kills him. Well, I mean, he probably
Actually,
did end up killing him.
yeah, actually, I was about to say, yeah, Anakin seemed to have that trait, or Lord Vader did. Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because mostly with this trailer, I'd say it's only like little nitpick things I could really say. The rest of it is kind of there's a book of Boba Fett coming out. That's it. There was one scene that kind of caught me, and I was wondering about it. Was when Boba Fett's helmet falls in the ground and coins flow out of it. Those were circular coins, if I recall. I thought credits in Star Wars were like a square rectangular-ish shape.
I personally wouldn't know. They did look like Republic credits, or at least New Republic credits. I don't know what to make of that scene personally. I don't know why his helmet would be full of credits and why he wouldn't be wearing it. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. That's kind of
Yeah.
one of those things where I guess we'll have to wait and see what comes of
Mhm.
that. Um, but I'm definitely excited, even though, like you mentioned, there's not really a whole lot given. And I mean, we discussed this before that sometimes that's what we need is we need a little taste, and we need to leave with more questions than we have answers, right?
Okay.
That kind of leaves us in a position where we're sitting on the edge of that cliff,
Mhm.
waiting for more. So, with
Yeah,
that being
and
said, um, I mean, we're both huge Star Wars fans, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you are, waiting with much anticipation for this to come out in December.
yes, of course. In all honesty, I would say they the only thing that trailers could actually do for me at this point, because of how much of a fan and how excited I am overall for it, is to potentially damage or concern me about the show. Because it's funny, I'm kind of a little worried that my expectations are so high that I'm gonna be disappointed in a sense, because I had like no expectations going into The Mandalorian, and it easily became one of my favorite shows I've ever watched. Um, so now Boba Fett has some very big shoes to fill, because not only did The Mandalorian nail it out of the park in my mind, but then there's now a character such as Boba Fett, who was what I thought they should have made The Mandalorian about originally. By the way, totally happy that they didn't. Mandalorian is a masterpiece. Um, but it has to somehow now, like, somehow reach a similar bar, and I'm honestly a little bit unsure if it can. The Mandalorian was just so well done, and I have a hard time like shifting gears into my head thinking of how they're gonna do it. But I have a lot of faith in the people making this show.
Well,
So
from what I understand, it'll be John Favreau and Dave Filoni
yeah,
again that are going to
praise be
be,
for those two.
yes. Uh, it seems like they're going to be heavily involved in that.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I think as long as they're heavily involved, I think we will continue to get a consistent, good product out of Disney,
Hmm.
at least on this front, the TV shows and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Um, I I'm more excited for this than I am for Christmas, to be honest with you. That's honestly how excited I am for this. I've been waiting so long. Um, this and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, whenever that ends up happening. I know they're filming it right now, and they
Yeah,
need to hurry up with it because Obi-Wan Kenobi is hands down easily my favorite character in all of Star Wars. So, uh, yeah, that's gonna be fucking awesome.
yeah, no,
I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that. It's going to be fucking awesome.
that one is. that one I have to say is of all the ones that I know that are coming from Star Wars right now, I believe the Kenobi one is the one I'm the most excited for. It's kind of like the Loki show of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Marvel TV shows, where it's like, okay, that's the one I want to see. All the rest are great and all, and they honestly were great. But the Loki show was just that's the one I was excited for. Is kind of like the Kenobi one. This Boba Fett one though is one that I've wanted for so long to see Boba Fett like in his prime, and I'm going like just seeing that little. If they had only shown that little clip of him in his prime from The Mandalorian and had left it at that, I would have been thrilled with that. So the fact that there's potentially a show of it, if they can keep that level of awesome going, then I'm gonna be thrilled.
Same here. All right. I would say that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. I think we've kind of gone and spoken about pretty much everything we wanted to cover and for this trailer. If you guys enjoyed our content, be sure to subscribe and like our channel. We'll be coming out with more trailer reviews. We've got some movie reviews coming out. We've got lots of stuff planned. So stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you next time. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you, and please once again hit that like and subscribe button because this is the way.
This is the way.